Stop chasing. Okay, listen, I'm back with another video to show you how you can perfectly time an entry to make you quite a bit of money. All right. Now, this is a pattern called the piercing pattern, and I'm going to jump into exactly what this means in just a second. But before we go any further, do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Okay. You can wait on the subscribe button because you got to wait to see if this video is valuable first. All right. But if it is, hit that subscribe button. Also, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, I go live every day giving out levels. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice. But you know, 6 out of 6 trades this week did work out. I'm just saying. All right. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. And anything that comes out of this video that you decide to do, know that it's coming from your brain and not mine. Okay. You're doing your own research, your own due diligence, and not taking it because I'm saying take it. All right, now let's jump into it real quick. All right, so Investopedia says that a piercing pattern is a pattern that's a 2-day candlestick charting pattern that signals a potential short-term reversal from a downward trend to an upward trend. It includes the first day opening near the high and closing near the low with an average or larger size trading range, followed by a gap down on the second day where trading opens near the low and closes near the high. Okay. It said it's an a downward to uptrend, but this also works in the reverse. Okay. So we're going to look at a couple of examples, and I'm doing this in real time so that you guys can see how this is going to pan out tomorrow. So at the time that I'm recording this video, it is what is it? It is 1:21 Pacific. Okay, 1:21 p.m. Pacific. So we're going to jump into an example. All right, now here we have Apple. All right, Apple has this piercing pattern, right? Went above the previous day high, right? And then it came about 50% into this this candle. Also coupling this with the strat method, right? We see that this is a 3 candle. Typically, 3 is followed with a 2 when it's a very bearish sentiment. So with us getting this 3 candle as a reversal, we could be looking at tomorrow being a possible 2 candle, right? Apple also tends to fall towards the end of the week. So we could see a really good opportunity on this to the downside tomorrow. Okay, if you're in the TPC, you'll get the levels and all of that stuff. But for those who are not, you want to watch it below this previous candle low, right? So somewhere around 271 is going to be great for entries into this gap fill right here. We do want to see how it responds off of this. We got 2 wicks off of this fair value gap right here. So let's see how it responds here. But we could have a really nice entry tomorrow for continuation to the downside and possibly even making it down to this second fair value gap. Okay. But again, whenever you see a piercing pattern, know that there is some sort of reversal decision that is being made. We got another example, ARM, almost an identical setup, right? Went above high, the previous day high, and then it came back and closed more than 50% into the previous candle, causing a reversal. I think we'll see this come down substantially tomorrow. But again, we are going to have to wait and see. All right. Now, what makes trading so beautiful is really understanding when. When you can understand the when, this is how you win. Okay. And when I say win, I mean like knowing exactly what point you need to enter, the timing of it all, right? This is what leads to the WIN, the actual winning of these plays. All right. I want you guys to understand that it's the point of reversal. It's the point of change that we have more to gain. If I've been behaving in a certain manner for a long time, you ever heard of burnout? You ever heard of somebody being exhausted? You ever heard of being tired, or have you ever experienced these things? What do you do when that happens? You get to a point where you start to slow down so much that like it might be time to go into another direction, right? It might be like a change. Like I got to do something different is usually the sentiment when somebody is reaching a burnout state. They're like, I can't keep going on like this. That's what's happening in the stock market when you see a piercing pattern or when you see a break of a trend line, like I talked about in the video the other day. All right. It's at these points of exhaustion that a change of behavior is implemented. Okay. And when that change of behavior is implemented, now you're starting off on a new journey that you could take to exhaustion or near exhaustion. All right. This is what we call risk to reward. This means that you have more to gain in the future than you do to lose to the downside. So you have a much higher probability of making more money on those types of trades. All right. We want to be watching for this at all times in the market. It could be a piercing pattern. It could be, a bearish engulfing, a bullish engulfing, an inverted hammer, a hammer. And this coupled with things like order blocks and fair value gaps and volume give us even more insight to how soon these trades are going to come into fruition. All right. I want you guys to understand how to start putting all of these things together, right? Not just taking one thing and deciding that, okay, because this one thing is happening, I can enter, but understanding that that one thing is just getting you one step closer to making the best decision about which trade you can take. Now, there's 7,000 plus companies on the stock market. So what does that mean? There's no way that we can catch them all, right? There's going to be opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, but they're all not going to be something that you can catch. One, because you just don't have the capacity. And also, everything is not prime for investing in that exact moment, right? We want to see confluence. We want to see multiple reasons. And of these 7,000 stocks, or maybe even the, let's say 20 or 30 that you may have on your watch list, you're going to choose the best ones. You're going to make sure you're choosing the highest quality setups. What makes something high quality? Having at least 3 to 4 reasons why it's going into a different direction or why it's going to a certain destination. Okay? Again, if you can have 3 reasons of why something is changing directions, you're really cooking. You're really putting yourself in a position to make a lot of money. Okay? I want y'all to keep this in mind. Watch for piercing patterns, right? Get familiar with it. Go to Investopedia. Go do your research. Go look at my videos, right? Go and fully understand what makes up a piercing pattern, whether it's reversing to the downside or reversing to the upside. Start to take note of these. This is how you get better, right? This is how you build upon yourself and improve your craft, right? You want to start to back test. You want to start to look for these patterns consistently across a bunch of different data sets, which means a bunch of different stocks. All right. And if you can identify 100 of these and you can then see how many times it worked out and how many days it took to work out, you now have real data that you can implement and you can rest on. You can say that this piercing pattern, when it forms like this, it works about 80% of the time. Well, if something works 80% of the time, I'm okay with losing 2 times out of 10 and winning 8 times out of 10. Okay? There's no way you're going to come out of that deal unprofitable. All right? This is a game of probabilities. It's not gambling. If you feel like your adrenaline is pumping too much, you are gambling. If your dopamine is firing and you're just too excited and can't contain yourself, you, my friend, might be gambling. But when you can sit in a calm and relaxed state and know that you are executing and that's your win, right? Not the actual result itself, but the fact that you executed on what you saw and you avoided the things that didn't match up to what you know you needed to see to enter a play, that is when you are doing your best in trading. That's when you're going to get the results. All right. It's time to lock in. Everybody in the TPC is winning. All right. If you're not a part of the Prosperity Collective TPC, I don't know what you're waiting for. The link is in the description, right? We don't charge an arm and a leg. We have very fair prices. But guess what? You get way more in return. Not only are you getting profits like we've shown in pretty much every video, I even put one right here. This is just from today. Multiple people getting over 100%. This is not anything new to us. All right. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, right? And you're tired of trading alone, you want to be a part of a family, hit the link. All right. It's always love over here. I appreciate you guys. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, man, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right. Also, I go live every day giving out free levels. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. It just so happens to work out. All right. Love y'all. Y'all be safe. continue to work on your craft, continue to journal, continue to do what you got to do to improve. Okay? Remember, invest smart so you can live free. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.